Welcome to the DisPlaced DieHards podcast, recorded at 2420 Studios in Owensboro, Kentucky. Download a new episode of the podcast every Friday at DisplacedDieHards.com. Follow us on Twitter at DieHards Podcast. You can also listen to the podcast on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And as always, watch us Saturday at 10 p.m. on Time Warner, Channel 72. Yippee-ki-yay.
DisPlaced DieHards.
DisPlaced DieHards.
I am a DisPlaced DieHard.
I'm a DisPlaced DieHard. We are DisPlaced DieHards.
Welcome to episode number 13, the Halloween special of the DisPlaced DieHards. I've got a very special guest here at the desk with me.
Very special. Very.
Co-hosting the number one interviewer in the game, Mr. Monday Night Football himself, Kenny the Snake Stabler,
That's
ladies
right,
and
baby.
gentlemen.
That's
live.
right. They brought me in as a special guest a couple weeks ago just for a one-week gig, and then I stole the show. So they started bringing me back every week, interviewing everybody across the land. And you know what they said? They called me this week. They said, Kenny, Stephen A. Turner's a little butthurt from the Carolina ass-whooping they laid on the Minnesota Vikings. So could you sit in on the show this week? And the Snake said, why, sure, baby, for a paycheck. So the Snake's here, baby. He's here. He's ready to collect some dollars.
And the Snake's here. Along with him, we also got Slingblade's going to check in. Slingblade, the Mongoloid Manning.
Mongoloid. I love him. I love Slingblade Manning.
Going to hear from the number one Jets fan in the world, Dirty Kermit.
He's got a dirty mouth, baby.
Racist,
dirty mouth.
Racist Riley Cooper checks in with
I got no comment on that.
with his big win from the Buccaneers-Eagles game.
Snake can't afford a lawsuit, baby. I'm going to stay away from that one.
We've got New England Vader making his first appearance on the show.
I don't know who the hell that is. That sounds pretty wild.
Your buddy from the Drunk Tank, Drunk Bernie.
Yeah, me and Drunk Bernie's got beef. You owe me for that vomit in my Lexus, Bernie. I'm going to find you. The Snake will find you.
And then we also got Gimp, our New England Patriots correspondent, checking in to give us a rundown of that crazy game that New England won over New Orleans.
Yeah, everybody's going to be back on the bandwagon this week, baby. They beat the Saints. That's unbelievable.
We've also got one other special guest here in the studio, live at the 2420 Studios. We've got Undead Al live in the studios over there sitting beside Kenny the Snake.
Ever since I mentioned Marcus Allen and something about Al's daughter, we hadn't got along. We haven't seen eye to eye. Somebody got to put them back in the ground.
As you see, we got.
Why are you sitting beside the Snake?
We got Undead Al chained up there, Snake. Calm down. He's not gonna do anything. And then also we got
y'all got health insurance around here?
We got a machete right here, so if the chain goes, then we got a backup plan. So
I hope them chains hold up, baby. It's gonna be a L.A. Raider-sized lawsuit on your ass.
It was in your contract that you were protected from all times from Undead Al. So your protection policy is this machete right here.
So you know what, Al? First thing, I gotta break in right now. I gotta ask you about your boy Darius Haywood-Bay. How many passes he drop on Monday night, man? Why'd you draft that kid? Oh, man. I'm making him mad. I'm firing him up, baby. Nobody's more fired up than the Snake, though. I'm happy to be here. Let's get it started.
We're going to roll on now to this past week's game. We're going to cover, starting off now, with Slingblade's own New York Giants staying winless as they lost to the Chicago Bears 27-21.
Tom Coughlin, you're going to be joining me in the unemployment line pretty soon. I'm telling you right now, you ain't getting it done up there in New York.
Maybe we'll have a new correspondent here. Tom Coughlin turns a crazy shade of red whenever he's pissed off. So we could have red-faced Tom Coughlin on the show as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, Eli Manning still looked like Slingblade as he immediately came out. Didn't look like you on Monday Night Football for sure.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Had 2 interceptions in his first 5 passes. What's wrong with him, Snake?
The guy's throwing interception, left and right. I've never seen anything like it. How many's he thrown, 22? I think he's thrown more interceptions than his brother's thrown touchdowns. That's unbelievable.
I think right now he's at 15.
He's a mongoloid of the Manning family. You got that right, baby.
On the other side, you got Jaded Jay Cutler, another DisPlaced DieHards favorite.
That guy does no wrong, man, in his own eyes. But he couldn't hold a candle to the Snake. I'll tell you right now, I interviewed Jay. That was my very first interview, and the guy, he's a little bit jaded.
You stole the show from him, though. Of course he's jaded. I mean, he's not the one sitting here at the desk. You stole the show from Jaded Jay. Of course he was a little angry. He's not used to that. Whenever Brandon Marshall tries to run things on him, he turns the plans. He doesn't listen to people.
Speaking of that, reminds me, I listened to the show last week, baby, and I heard about what happened with Jay and Brandon Marshall, and I'd like to get in a little bit of that action right there. I'll tell you right there. So, Jay, you got Snake's number. Go ahead and hit me up, baby. I love reality stars. I love them.
Too bad you can't be a wide receiver and be his boy like Brandon Marsh. You slide right in there,
That's
Snake.
right. Snake will slide in anywhere I can get him, baby.
Speaking of that, we're going to go ahead and slide it on to Slingblade Mongoloid Manning. He lost once again, still winless. His coach may get fired. They may be trading away the rest of the teams. Let's hear how he thinks about it.
Oh, Jesus.
This is Eli Manning. Some call me Slingblade Manning. I call myself Eli Manning. Reporting live for the DisPlaced DieHards podcast. I reckon. I'm here to talk about my last game. Not too good. Not too good it was. I didn't do too good.
Oh, that's enough. Ugh. This is Jay Cutler, future Hall of Fame first ballot quarterback for the Chicago Bears. You may think I'm hanging out with this mongoloid idiot, but it's just not so. As a matter of fact, I hired Eli to fix my lawnmower. 'Cause that's about all he's good at, is fixing things. How'd it feel to get your ass kicked by the Chicago Bears? And most frankly, me, Jay Cutler.
Well, I don't reckon it felt too good. I only try to do what Coach Tom told me to do, my dear good friend Coach Tom. I just kept throwing the ball, but the team, they just kept, your team, Mr. Cutler, they kept throwing the ball. They kept catching it. I kept throwing it. They kept catching it.
Well, that's better than what most of my teammates do. Most of my teammates can't catch a cold. They usually depend on me to do all the work. Now I kind of understand why Archie kept you in a shed for all those years. You're a complete moron.
Well, I can't say I blame Papa Manning for putting me out in the shed away from old Peyton. Yeah. Even when I was staring at the floor, I dreamed of winning Super Bowls, and I won 2 Super Bowls. How many Super Bowls have you won, Mr. Cutler?
That's very funny, you mongoloid. Hope you get a good kick out of that, like the bastards at ESPN. Always trying to bury me. Always trying to blame me. I'll tell you right now, the reason why I haven't won any Super Bowls is because I have an incompetent team around me most of the time. I'm out there doing what I can do. It's like I'm playing with 52 Slingblade Mannings. That's what it's like. You know how difficult that is? It's very difficult. Listen here, Slingblade Manning. If I catch you looking at my reality star wife one more time, I'm going to backslap you right across the face, just like I do my offensive linemen when they step out of line and miss a block, or my wide receivers when they drop a ball, or my dumbass head coach when he installs a stupid game plan. All this is the stuff that Jay Cutler gets saddled with. I feel like I'm carrying 10 pianos on my back, but it's not enough to hold me down. I just go, I look in the mirror, and I say, God damn, Jay, you're amazing. How's that feel?
Well, I reckon it must feel pretty good to be that amazing and to have that much of an attractive wife. I reckon Slingblade Manning likes your reality star wife. I'd like to show her my Kaiser blade.
You just keep dreaming, Eli. Keep dreaming, just like you dream you're better than Peyton. You're not even better than Jay Cutler. Dream you can put your hands on my reality star wife. Ha. Keep your ass in the tool shed where you belong, and fix my lawnmower like I'm paying you.
Well, out in the shed, I had plenty of time to tinker with the mowers and such, and the tools and such out in the lawnmower and all that good stuff.
I bet you did. Yeah, go ahead and tinker, Eli. Tinker with yourself. Think about being with my reality star wife. That's about as close as you're going to come to ever laying hands on her. Hey, and while you're at it, go ahead and tinker some more. Think about being with Jay Cutler. Because that's about as close as you're ever going to be to greatness. I'm Jay Cutler.
Thank you, Mongoloid Manning, for your thoughts
right.
on the Giants' rough start to the season. Going to move it on
I'm new
now
at this.
to the Carolina Panthers versus my usual co-host, Stephen A. Turner's
Yeah, he's butthurt, ain't he?
favorite team,
ain't
Minnesota
here.
Vikings. They went
I try to tell you, man.
into their own
They're
Minnesota went into the Metrodome there in Minnesota after a home game in London. Went back home to the Metrodome and got stomped out 35-10. So then they got stomped out so bad that Stephen A. Turner called in sick this week, and we had to get the Snake to fill in.
They got Cam Newton throwing for 400 yards on him. He ain't thrown for over 25 all season. Then he goes out and throws for 400 on the Vikings defense. I told you they're a bunch of bums.
I know as far as fantasy numbers, the week before that he had 2.5 points, and he's
garbage.
And then this week he had 35.5 points.
I try to tell you, baby.
Minnesota's defense was not shutting down Superman.
The Snake could throw for 500 yards on this defense. I'm telling you right now, it's like Arena League football out there in Minnesota. They got to get it ratcheted up, or Leslie Frazier's going to be looking for a job.
I know there's a big quarterback controversy right now in Minnesota, and since I've got one of the
got
one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time right here, I've got to get his thoughts on the three-headed monster known as the Vikings quarterback situation.
Well, it's a bunch of garbage is what it is. You put three half-ass quarterbacks together, it doesn't make one good one. I can tell you that.
Doesn't make one snake.
But right now, the most important thing on my mind is trying to get a hold of Odinson. Do you got this guy's number? Because he told me to that place called Asgard last week, and let me tell you what, baby, they know how to party in Asgard, and the Snake is ready to go back.
I don't have his number. He just randomly appears when he wants to. He's a Norse warrior from another dimension. I mean,
he's got some tavern wenches up there and all that.
You can't
it's a good time, baby.
You can't exactly text somebody like that.
The Snake needs some more mead, baby. Holler at me, Odinson. If you're watching the show, you got the Snake's number. Give me a call, baby. We're ready to go to the Rainbow Road again. Let's do it. The Rainbow Bridge, whatever the hell it was. The Snake's ready to go back.
The Vikings fans need some mead after watching this game, though.
Absolutely.
What do you think, though, on the three-headed quarterback? We got to get the.
Well, Josh Freeman's got to start this week, doesn't he?
Who are you starting, Snake? You're starting Freeman?
Well, hell, you might as well. What do you got to lose? Matt Castle's throwing balls 20 feet over people's heads. Christian Ponder can't throw the ball 3 yards.
You might lose any possible attempt you have at winning this division.
Who cares? What are you talking about? Winning the division? Are you kidding me?
Hey, you never know. They could go on another run like last year. At this point,
we're in Teddy Bridgewater sweepstakes, baby. We're looking for Teddy Bridgewater. We ain't looking for Josh Freeman or a division championship.
I don't know. I think Josh Freeman could come in there and right that ship. And if
Josh Freeman can't play cornerback, baby. They don't have a cornerback. They got 3 guys out there that can't guard my grandma, baby, on the outside.
This is true. I don't know why
they're giving up 700 yards a game on against offenses, baby. It's just not going to work.
Leslie Frazier is using an odd strategy on defense. I must admit, Josh Robinson couldn't cover an Apollo wide receiver.
Absolutely.
And he matches them up on the opposing number 1 wide receiver for some reason. Do you see any reason in that, Snake?
He gets burned up the entire first half. They go in at half, and they talk about making adjustments. And the first thing you know, they got Josh Robinson back on Steve Smith. The only competent wide receiver on the whole entire Panthers team, baby. I lost my toothpick. I'm getting upset.
They also couldn't shut down D'Angelo Williams, who had a solid game for D'Angelo Williams as well.
That's because the linebackers are garbage, baby. They got rid of Jasper Brinkley, and they moved Aaron Henderson in the middle, and the guy can't play middle linebacker. That's what it boils down to. He can't play it.
They're definitely missing the Williams wall in Minnesota. I mean,
Pat Williams is long gone. He ain't walking through that door.
Neither's Kevin Williams. He ain't walking through that door either.
He's going to be gone. He's going to be walking out the door at the end of the season. He's a free agent.
There's one man that is still holding out hope that they're walking through that door, though, and it's the lifelong diehard Minnesota Vikings fan and usual co-host of the DisPlaced DieHards, Stephen A. Turner.
You ain't getting your job back, baby.
He wouldn't show up.
You ain't getting it back.
He wouldn't show up to
be on. It's a snake seat now.
He's been on a bender since that last game, and he wouldn't show up to be on camera this week, so he sent in a report of his Minnesota Vikings. Let's go ahead and kick it to Steve right now.
Bunch of losers, baby. Yeah, this is Stephen A. Turner here, checking in from home this week. I'm a little too embarrassed to show my face on television after the dismantling of my Minnesota Vikings this past week. I'm not going to talk about them too long. I'm trying not to be too much of a hypocrite and talk about teams that are relevant and are going to win more than 1 or 2 games this year. The path we're on, we're not going to win many more than that. Everybody's talking about the quarterback situation. Like I've said all along, the quarterback is the least of our worries at this point. The defense is just completely in shambles. I'm just going to hit a few high points and just say that right off the get-go, the entire coaching staff's got to be held accountable. Leslie Frazier is just he's reverted back to his 2011 self. The team looks unprepared. They look like they're playing coverages on the field that they've never ran before. They're just completely lost. There's no excuse for that, especially after a 14-day layoff. I mean, you have 14 days to get your team ready to play ball, and you got guys out there that act like they don't know what they're doing. That's the coaching staff that needs to be held accountable for that. All the way through the board. I mean, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, and first and foremost, Leslie Frazier. You know, I got on his bandwagon a little bit last year. They were a very disciplined team, very solid unit, and now they look just completely lost, discombobulated out there. So Frazier has to be your number one concern. If it doesn't turn around pretty quickly, I'd say his chances of coming back are second to none. You start on the D-line. I don't really have a whole lot of beef with them, and it is what it is. I mean, Jared Allen, he shows up every once in a while. It's time to cut bait with Jared Allen. He's gave us many good years. I love him to death, but it is what it is. I mean, you got to go with your young defensive ends in Robeson and Everson Griffin. You move to the linebackers. It's a complete and total mess at linebacker. Chad Greenway is underachieving. Aaron Henderson moved to Jasper Brinkley's spot. You know, he just can't play the position is what it boils down to. I don't question his work ethic or his heart. I know the guy's putting everything he can into it, but the fact of the matter is he's just not getting the job done. And then outside linebacker, we finally started Desmond Bishop this week. Frazier removed his head from his ass and figured out he was the best outside linebacker we had, or strong side linebacker we had on the team. And finally put him in there, and he gets hurt. He's out for the year, tore his Achilles. So there's that. So at this point, it's time to just start playing the kids there. I mean, Michael Motti, it's time to start giving him a look at middle linebacker. Aaron Henderson, maybe shift him back to the weak side and maybe shore up at least that position, because Marvin Mitchell wasn't doing anything at that spot. And then you move to the cornerbacks, and it's just, I mean, I said it a few weeks ago, and I'm almost flat out embarrassed that I said that, you know, the best 5 cornerbacks we've had, and I'm embarrassed to say that now. And Josh Robinson is just getting destroyed by everybody he plays, and our coaching staff insists on putting him on the best player on the team at all times. And it's embarrassment to everyone that Leslie Frazier is so scared of putting a rookie out there, and Xavier Rhodes, the guy who is always in a wide receiver's hip pocket, and he's showing that he's by far the most talented DB on the team, sans Harrison Smith, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, at this point, Marcus Sherrills is playing better ball than Robinson. There's just not a whole lot of good to report. That's pretty much the defensive side of the ball. And the most important thing that the media speculates on is quarterback. I mean, why not start Freeman this week? I mean, to me, if it's me, I'm going back to Ponder. That's just me. If I'm head coach of the team, Ponder starts this week. I think it was, and I jumped on the Castle bandwagon, so I was in the wrong as well. But you know, they're a bounce the ball away from being, you know, 2-1 with Christian Ponder as their starter, and you know, Castle got that bounce at the end of the game. He got the play from the defense, and they bailed him out, and they won the game in London because the defense made a play, and they didn't make a play for Ponder. I don't see a whole lot of difference in any of the 3 quarterbacks, to be honest, and I'm not excited about Josh Freeman. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he comes in and he's the future of the team. But to be honest with you, I don't think next year's starting quarterback is on the roster at this point. And I've already spent too much time talking about it this week, and I'm sure they're having a lot more fun in the studio with Kenny the Snake. So we're going to get it back over there to those guys. See you next week. That almost put the Snake in tears, baby. Stephen A. Turner just crying a river, baby. Well, it ain't going to get any better. Get ready for the NFL draft, Stephen A., because the Snake's taking your seat for the rest of the season.
Almost made you cry, huh?
Almost.
I guess.
Pathetic.
Guess kind of how almost
Pathetic.
the Vikings won those close games there.
That's embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for him.
Gonna move it on now to Stephen A. Turner's real favorite team, the Green Bay Packers, took on the Baltimore Ravens.
He'd be so lucky.
This is one of your old school rivals back in the day there, Snake, the Green Bay Packers. That's back in your era.
Yeah, we used to smoke the Green Bay Packers, baby. They weren't nothing.
The glory days.
Well, the Snake really didn't have much problem with most teams. As you know, I got a Super Bowl ring, so that tells you all you need to know right there.
Final score was 19-17, a close defensive battle. Everybody thought last year this would have been an offensive battle where you've seen probably a 31-27 score or something like that.
Just call it how it is, baby. If you were in a market that only showed Green Bay and Baltimore, you were asleep by halftime. This game was boring as shit.
Well, you gotta blame some of the boringness on Green Bay losing all their weapons there.
It's a mash unit.
Randall Cobb took one of those crazy shots that receivers are taking to the legs now that they can't be hitting the head or up high, even in the shoulders. Sometimes they're getting called for head to head. So I mean, I can't really blame these defensive backs for hitting low. But I mean, Reggie Cobb lost for he's on the IR designated to return.
He's done, baby.
So that's gonna hurt. And then James Jones went out too. I mean, I know Stephen A. Turner was down about the Minnesota Vikings game, but he had to be smiling on the inside a little bit watching those Green Bay Packers drop like flies out there.
Yeah, they don't have nobody left. Who they got to throw the ball to? Jordy Nelson. He'll have a hangnail next week, baby. He'll be on the IR. You better calm down, Al. I'm telling you right now.
Probably another reason to make Stephen A. Turner smile is they've got one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite weapons in Minnesota now, and Greg Jennings. That would have been somebody that come in really handy right now. I think the way Green Bay is going to counter this is they're gonna run the ball more with Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy's came in and showed that he's
Eddie Lacy is running the ball pretty well.
Showed that he's a number one running back.
I believe it.
Like I was predicting all preseason, and Packers hater Stephen A. Turner was saying that he wouldn't be a number one running back. And
What's he right about anything anyway, baby? Who cares?
Looks like right now he is. And I mean, they also got James Starks coming back, who was impressive in the time he played, and even Jonathan Franklin put up 100 yards in the one game he had to fill in. So I mean, Green Bay's got a decent running attack if they do have to go to the running game.
Yeah, I think you got to give the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers a little credit. You know, a lot of people were writing them off, saying they were a really bad unit. But it doesn't matter who they plug in at running back. They're running constantly for over 100 yards. So I wouldn't get all overboard on Eddie Lacy. James Starks and Franklin have ran for more yards or just the same amount of yards. So it really just depends on the moving company up front. They're really doing a decent job protecting Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's going a long way in the Green Bay Packers' resurgence in the division.
Moving on to Baltimore's side of the ball, Joe Flacco got that big franchise money. And now the rest of the team seem like they're deteriorating. He's got no offensive help.
Don't get me started on Joe Flacco and how much money that cat's making. He couldn't outplay the snake on my worst day, baby. And I didn't make enough in a season as he made in one game.
Yeah, the snake you probably didn't make a tenth of what he did.
No, it's pathetic.
And he's in a tenth of the player that you are, Snake. He doesn't have
Not
those.
a tenth. You're right about that.
He doesn't have those Monday Night Football numbers that the Snake does he?
Hell no, he don't. Hell no.
Give the Snake that $100 million contract,
That's right.
Baltimore.
That's right.
Ozzie Newsome, we're calling you out.
Hey, Harbaugh, you might want to start trying to run the ball, baby. You might want to start feeding the monster in Ray Rice, because if you don't, Joe Flacco's going to drive you right into the offseason and no playoff berth. You got that? Write it down, John Harbaugh, whatever the hell your name is. You damn Harbaugh, loser.
Speaking of no playoff berths, going to keep it moving now. Moving on to Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Jets. I don't have either of these teams being in the playoffs. What about you, Snake?
No, man, no, not at all. Ben Roethlisberger's doing all he can do, baby, but he don't have a whole lot of help. You know, they're getting old in Pittsburgh. My buddy Mike Tomlin, he's trying to keep the ship going the right way, but it's just sinking on him there. And then you flip the ball to the other side, and you got the Jets, who are doing a lot better than people expected. I think Rex Ryan's doing a pretty good job there. But Geno Smith's an every other game quarterback, man. He looks like a rookie. That's what he is. He's a rookie.
Rex Ryan doing a great job there. But
I think he is. The defense has played great ball this year.
He's no John Madden, though.
No, John Madden. Hell no.
Let's not get crazy here.
So you roll there, Mr. Ward.
Anyway, the Pittsburgh Steelers finally got the first win of the season, 19-16, over the Jets. I don't know. The Jets, they came in. I think they might have overlooked this game because their next game coming up this next week, they're playing the New England Patriots, and I think they might have overlooked Pittsburgh coming in. Pittsburgh came in with no wins. I think they overlooked them. Pittsburgh's kind of got a little bit of a running game now. Le'Veon Bell's came back. They weren't getting anything from that position.
You can't overlook a team in the NFL. You do it, it's going to bite you right in the ass because everybody is just too close in the NFL. You come out and you don't play your best, and you're going to get beat. It's as simple as that. So Rex Ryan, he didn't have his team prepared. He admitted that after the game. And, you know, Geno Smith, that's great because he's going to be ready to play against New England because he's an every other game quarterback.
I know Mike Goodson, the Jets running back who was suspended for the first 4 games of the season, he was starting to get some playing time. He might have been their featured back there eventually by the end of the season going into the playoffs. It was always good to have a fresh running back there, and he went out immediately, tore his knee up. So it doesn't look like it's getting any brighter for the New York Jets. And if that's going to piss one person off, it's going to piss off Dirty Kermit. So we got to get his thoughts on the game.
I can't wait to hear this.
Let's kick it to our newest correspondent down on Sesame Street, Dirty Kermit.
Kermit the mother frog here for the DisPlaced DieHards podcast. I'm a little bit pissed off this week. Pittsburgh kicked our ass. So right off the top, I want to say a big fuck you to Ben Roethlisberger and Troy Polamalu. Beyond that, the whole city of Pittsburgh can get on their knees and lick my fucking green balls. But moving on past that bullshit, we got to move on to a team that I loathe. The New England Patriots. Tom Brady. Tell you what, for those of you that tuned into the pay-per-view last week, watch me take a on Giselle's. You could tune in for the sequel this week when I bent Tom Brady over the couch and him like the bitch that he is. Because that's what Rex Ryan's defense is going to do to you, Tom. We're going to you. You hear me? Not like we do on Sesame Street, and not the clean kind of like Oscar does with those in his trash can. What I'm trying to say is it's going to be way worse than that, Tom. It's going to get dirty like me licking Miss Piggy's ass. We'll see you Sunday, Tom. And Bill. That Kermit's got a dirty mouth, baby. Wow, he's got a dirty mouth. I don't want to hang out on Sesame Street, especially around no damn trash cans, if you know what I'm saying.
No, let's move away from that as quickly as we can. Move to Ill Bill.
Get this damn zombie away from me.
Ill Bill Hardesty, get the light on him. Get the light on him. Blind him, Bill. Blind him. Blind him. Get him off the snake. Get him off the snake. All right, well,
That's terrifying.
Since Bill got his zombie
sign up
flashlight
for?
blinding in, go ahead and talk about his team, the Tennessee Titans, as they took on the Seattle Seahawks with that crazy 12th man advantage in Seattle.
You got to come away impressed with the Tennessee Titans. Am I wrong?
They were in that game the whole game. Like I say, Seattle's got a 14-point advantage at home, and the final score was 20-13 Seattle. So I mean, if you look at the 14-point advantage with Seattle, hell, Tennessee won.
It was an absolute barn burner, baby. And the 12th man, you got to be impressed with the Tennessee Titans, baby. They come to play every week, even the games they lose. It's a damn shame Jake Locker got hurt.
That defense
because Fitzpatrick's just not getting the job done. Jake Locker was playing good ball.
That defense is old school and smash mouth, and like you said, Jake Locker, he was steering them in the right direction. Fitzpatrick, he came in, he looked like he took him a little while to catch up to NFL game speed. I mean, he definitely was no Mr. Monday Night Football.
No, baby, he got paid too. He got paid in one season more than the Snake made in his entire career, and he's not half the quarterback that the Snake is.
You need to go to France and get your blood spun and get back in the league,
Absolutely.
Snake. I mean, all these guys that are with
I can
half
play
your
for
talent.
the Vikings today. I done told you that last week. Ziggy Wilf, call me up, baby.
Half your talent and 20 times the paycheck for some reason. I mean, they get the Snake paid here.
That's right. On the other side of the ball, let's don't take away nothing from the Seattle Seahawks, baby. They still one of the best teams in all of football.
I think their offense is sluggish.
It is a little sluggish, but that defense, you could be a little sluggish.
It's reported that Percy Harvin's back at practice, so, I mean, that might be the shot of energy that Seattle needs.
It's just a matter of time for Percy gets in there, and that's dangerous, baby. That's a dangerous weapon.
I think who's going to get paid whenever Percy gets in the game is Marshawn Lynch. I think it's going to open up things a lot more for him whenever linebackers and DBs are going to have to pay attention to bubble screens and possibly Percy Harvin running the ball instead of just Marshawn pounding it.
Yeah, anytime you add a weapon like Percy Harvin, baby, it can't hurt. It absolutely can't hurt. And this team's already, sky's the limit for this team without Percy Harvin. So just look out. I mean, if Percy Harvin could be half the player that he was for the Minnesota Vikings, baby, the Seattle Seahawks are going to be real hard to beat.
Speaking of real hard to beat, we'll go ahead and move it on to a team that I was very glad to say that they were
your team, ain't it,
they're
baby?
very hard to beat this past Sunday. My Eagles.
That's right, the Eagles, that's right.
And
how about Nick Foles,
Nick
huh?
Foles came in.
Your boy, Nick Foles.
I'd been doubting him all season.
I think you're a Viking.
Quit it out!
Let's get this zombie back. Get him back.
Quit.
Calm him down.
I'm sorry about talking about Marcus Allen. I'm sorry about it, Al.
Dad!
Just
Don't
forgive
say
me.
Marcus Allen!
Just forgive me.
Sit down!
We're trying to talk about the Eagles, Al. Shut the hell up.
Sorry.
The
We
Eagles.
go way back, Al. You're like a father to me, man.
Wait till the Cowboys talk before you start interrupting us.
Trying to bite my ass.
Come on now.
We're trying to talk about Nick Foles, baby.
Nick Foles
Nick
coming in
Foles
there.
coming in and looking a little bit like the Snake, if you will.
He does have that blonde hair, a la the Snake. He got
He's
a
pretty.
striking resemblance
Nick
to
Foles
Nick
is
Foles.
pretty. He's a pretty human being.
Never realized that.
He's a pretty man.
I've been hating on Nick Foles the whole time, saying that he was going to affect our offense negatively and wasn't looking at anything that he could possibly make positive on the offensive side of the ball. And the one thing I noticed positive whenever he's in the game is that our red zone offense is a lot more dangerous. Vic, for some reason, can't find the open receivers in the red zone in that quick a time whenever its speed isn't the main option getting them open. Foles was in there. He's finding Riley Cooper. He found Deshaun Jackson. Found one Deshaun Jackson in the red zone. Deshaun rarely catches red zone touchdowns, and Foles picked him out of the crowd, found him right away. He actually looked off the defenders with some pump fakes, which is something Michael Vick doesn't do. So, I mean, I'll give the guy his props. I was weary of him coming in, but he came in, and if you can make us score touchdowns instead of field goals, I'll take you as my quarterback.
Yeah, Michael Vick's always been a down-the-field type of quarterback. He's always thrown a hell of a deep ball, but he hasn't always had the touch in the short to medium passing game, and that's what Nick Foles brings to the team, baby. He brings a short to medium passing game, and don't sleep on LaShawn McCoy. He's one of the best running backs in all of football.
Yeah, I think that's the thing they've got to figure out with Foles is a way to get him more involved in the game. Just running them straight up the middle or to the outside cuts, I don't think that's going to get it done.
Got to get the screen game going, baby.
I think the screen game is the way to go with Foles in the game. You got to use the screen as the detractor to what you were using with Vic whenever you're using the option. Instead of using the option, I'd use the screen game because, I mean, obviously you can't run the option with Foles. He runs a slower 40 than the Snake here does right now at age 65.
I tell you what, though, if you're an Eagles fan, you got to be impressed with Chip Kelly, the way he has completely changed the offense to suit Nick Foles. He's got two different sets of offenses, and both have been somewhat successful, if you will. I think that Nick Foles, the sky's the limit with Nick Foles. I think I'll roll with Nick Foles. The key to the Eagles is going to be the defense. It's always been the Achilles heel for the last couple seasons.
Yeah, our offense is basically ranked behind Denver in the majority of offensive stats on the season. And, I mean, I've been really impressed with what Chip Kelly's came in and done with our offense. Like you said, the defensive side of the ball, I still wish we'd have drafted Honey Badger every time I watch a Cardinals game and he's out there making plays, and then I watch us and we got Nate Allen out there not knowing how to cover anybody. But there's one guy that I'd been hating on all season who finally stepped up. I don't know if it was because of the quarterback change, or I'm not going to speculate with reasonings, but we're going to let him give you the reasoning of why he's finally stepped up, and it's none other than racist Riley Cooper.
I'm staying out of this, baby.
It's a slow ride.
Well, it's the great white wideout rallied by Guy Cooper, boy. Checking in on the DisPlaced DieHards podcast to break down my Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with my Eagles moving to 3-3 on the season, first place in the NFC East. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank Fog Hat for producing my introduction song. Boys, they can get down. They know how to put them strings down Southern style. That's what I'm talking about. And Hootie, you ever go with one of their songs, boy? I will hunt you down like a wild turkey on Thanksgiving. Now, I do not play around. Now, moving on, how about the Caucasian connection, boy? Old Riley by Guy Cooper and my boy Nick Foles. We getting her done. We riding on a gravy train with biscuit wheels, daddy. That's what I'm talking about, Jack. Our offense bowled up like an old Halloween cat out there, boy. Now, with Michael Vick in, our offense in the red zone was tighter than a skeeter's ass in a south dive. And I was getting shut out of virtually every game. I was getting madder than a bobcat caught in a piss fight, man. Now in the red zone, old Mike couldn't find me if I was running across the field with a burning cross. Mike couldn't hit a bull's butt with a bass fiddle in the red zone. But now that the Caucasian connection is around, Nick Foles is throwing touchdowns to me like lightning, boy. That's what I'm talking about. But next game, we gonna play the Dallas Cowboys. And as much as I love Toby's Keith, I should have been a Cowboy song. The Caucasian connection is still going to have to go in there and whoop them boys until they call us John Wayne, Jack. So stay high on the Eagles bandwagon with the Caucasian connection rolling through this Halloween season. And speaking of Halloween, I'm going to check out now so I can go get my Halloween costume ready. Got to cut the hose out of my white sheet. For my costume, I'm going to be a ghost. What did you think I was going to be? Are you crazy or something, boy? Until next time, this is the great white wideout, Riley Cooper, saying, Skeeter Dickin'.
Thank you to the great white wide receiver, as he called himself, Riley Cooper, talking about the Caucasian connection, as he dubbed himself, and Nick Foles on their big win over Tampa Bay, 31-20.
The Snake's going to plead the fifth on anything to do with Riley Cooper, baby. He's staying clear of that.
Snake does not like
I can't
lawsuits.
afford it. I can't afford it.
Snake's trying to get paid, not trying to pay people.
That's right.
Going to move it on now to Indy versus San Diego. Another game we thought was going to be an offensive shootout. Ended up being 16-6.
Keep that light ready.
San Diego just dominated the time of possession.
Yeah, San Diego, baby. My boy Phillip Rivers out there slinging it around. Looking the part, baby. He's looking good out there in San Diego.
Being an all-time great quarterback as yourself, Kenny Stabler, you've got to appreciate the quarterback matchup here of Andrew Luck versus Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
One of the things coming out of this game is people are saying Indianapolis is not using Andrew Luck as they should be.
What they
do you
did
think
was
they should?
that dumbass Jim Irsay, and I'm calling you out, Jim Irsay, right here, the snake, right here on the DisPlaced DieHards podcast, calling out Jim Irsay for trading away a first-round pick for that bum Trent Richardson and taking the ball out of your quarterback's hands, Andrew Luck. You're not giving him an opportunity to succeed, baby. You got to give Andrew Luck the ball and let him create. Instead, you're trying to run the ball all the time. That's not what it's all about. Did you do that to Peyton Manning, Jim Irsay? No, you didn't.
I don't understand it. I mean, they were rolling with Andrew Luck last year as a rookie. I mean, they made the playoffs, went on a hell of a run at the end of the season, and then you want to change the whole offensive philosophy of the team.
It doesn't make no sense.
Waste a first-round draft pick to bring in a monster running back who averages 3.5 yards a carry. I don't know. Indy could be on a slippery slope here with Denver being their next game. That's one thing you could chalk it up to, though, is maybe that Indy was overlooking this game and looking on to Peyton Manning's return to Indy.
We just touched on it, baby. You can't overlook nobody in the NFL. You're going to get beat. And that's exactly what happened. They got beat badly by the San Diego Chargers. This game wasn't nearly as close as a score, I didn't think. It looked like the game was over with by halftime.
San Diego did kind of what they did to my Philadelphia Eagles is they just held the ball the entire game. They were going on 12, 14.
I think Al Davis just died again. Is that possible? Can a zombie die again?
I don't know. Maybe he can die twice.
Well, that's good because it takes a load off my back. I'm looking over my shoulder all day over here, baby.
Maybe he just remembered that Carson Palmer trade. Finally
that's
took
a
him
good
out.
one, Mr. Ward.
That woke him up. Woke him up. Get him. Get the light on him. Get the light on him. Blind him.
Mr. Ward's got jokes.
Get him back.
He's fired him up.
I got funnies over here.
Oh, that was a good one, though. I liked it.
Well, speaking of good ones, this is probably my most hated one of the week. Dallas versus Washington. Going to move it on to there as Mr. Fourth Quarter Tony Romo took on the Catfish, as Stephen A. Turner dubbed it.
That's right. The State's got Tony Romo on his fantasy football team, and he took a little nap during the game because the Snake's about 70 years old. He takes naps, that's what he does.
He's
and
almost
when he
as old
woke
as
up,
Brandon Whedon.
That's right, almost as old. I don't have my Social Security like Brandon Whedon does, at this point. But what I'm trying to say is, I woke up and I saw the score and I said, Tony Romo, 31 points on the board. Tony Romo's lighting it up again, baby. I opened up my ESPN app. That's right, ESPN. You can download it at the iTunes store. That's right. I'm doing a little bit of work on the side here if you don't know what I'm trying to do. But I opened it up and I looked at Tony Romo only had like 12 points, baby. How'd they score all those points?
I think their run game and defense, if they pay attention to that and they don't just chuck the ball repeatedly to Dez Bryant. I mean, if they force feed the ball to Dez Bryant, you're going to be able to – defenses are going to figure out what you're doing, and eventually the bad Tony Romo is going to show up because they're going to know how to defend the one option that he's using. On the other side, Washington, I think RG3 looked a little bit more like RG3 in this game. Looked like his speed was
He's getting his
up a little
legs
bit
back
more.
under him a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. You got to keep an eye on the Redskins. They were dead to rights last year, and they came out of nowhere. They're not that far off, if you ask me.
Whenever you look at RG3, the thing I've noticed, though, is whenever he throws, he takes off his weight off that injured knee. How effective does that, or how much of a difference does that make coming from an all-time legend quarterback? Must know how much effect does that have when you can't post off your leg right.
His velocity is definitely down, and it's a lot to do with that injury. All you got to do is look back to one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, Mr. Tom Brady. Whenever he injured his knee, the whole year after, he just didn't look right. It's going to take RG3 a while. And RG3's a different quarterback to Tom Brady. He likes to run around and get out of the pocket and throw the ball around that way. And it's not coming together for him yet. You're going to have to give him time, baby. You're going to have to – the Redskin fans are going to have to relax and just get off his back a little bit and let the guy perform. It might be a long season, baby, but he'll return to form.
Well, it might be a long season. It might be dark days in Washington these days with the RG3 injury. But now we're going to kick it to a new segment of the show, kick it to the dark side, throw it to – what in the hell?
Oh, God. Get him off me.
Get off of him. Get off of him.
The snake, baby. Get him off me.
Well, sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Jesus.
Had to break it up there. The zombie got out of his chains there and tried to kill the snake. Snake, you all right?
Oh, baby, I ain't had to run like that since Mean Joe Green was chasing this ass, baby. But as you can see, I'm still pretty agile. Because he tried to bite me not once, he tried to bite me twice now. And the snake is still elusive. Ziggy Wilf, I'm still elusive, baby. You can see it. I still got some fire in these legs.
Undead Al is pissed. Ever since you brought up Marcus Allen and
telling
his
you,
daughter,
I'm sorry,
it's just
Undead
been
Al.
not pleasant between you two.
I got one damn real zombie.
I thought you two were boys.
I got one real zombie in the whole world, baby. And everybody's trying to jump on the bandwagon on the zombie apocalypse. We got the real zombie over here, and you got him sitting right next to me. You bringing me in 1 week, and you got me sitting next to a damn zombie. I'm about to sue everybody in here.
We thought you were boys.
This is ridiculous.
He's your boy.
We used to be boys. I had to go and ask him about Marcus Allen and his daughter. Everybody wants to know. I just asked him, get him out of here.
Get him the hell out of here.
Get him buried.
Horace, get the light on him.
You got to bury his ass deep.
All right, now that we got the undead one out of here, going to go ahead and try to kick it to our dark side correspondent. I'm going to throw it to New England Vader with his thoughts on the New Orleans Saints versus New England Patriots.
You may dispense with the pleasantries. I am Lord Bill Vader. And because of me, the Patriots are back on schedule. The Saints underestimated the power of the dark side. They believed they had won, but due to my teachings, we were able to crush the rebel scum. The traitorous fugitive Drew Brees learned the ability to throw touchdowns is insignificant to the power of the Force. Lord Brady has controlled his fear and released his anger. He knows now that only his hatred can destroy his enemies. I find the Patriots fans' lack of faith disturbing. Abandoning ship before the battle was over, we will hunt down the traitors and execute them for their slights against the Empire. Now, I must return to my ship and set a new course for New York, where we have cornered a band of rebel scum that must be exterminated.
Thank you, New England Vader, for your thoughts on the New England Patriots. It was Vader time here on the DisPlaced DieHards podcast. Going to move it on now to New England and New Orleans. Going to break down the game a little bit, and to do that, we're going to bring in our correspondent and New England superfan, Chris Cupples. We call him Gimp.
Hello, thanks guys for having me back for a third week. Kenny, nice to meet you. Thanks for gracing me
It's
with
very
your
nice
presence.
to meet you, baby. It's very nice to meet you. I'm honored at this point.
You're honored. I'm honored, sir. Mr. Monday Night, right
That's
in
right.
front of me.
I love it, baby. Everybody's giving me the props that I deserve, just laying out the red carpet here, except for having a zombie about to eat my ass. Everything's been going pretty well.
Well, Gimp definitely knows about great quarterbacks, with Tom Brady being his quarterback in New England since 2001. So, of course, he's going to appreciate a great quarterback like yourself, Snake.
That's right. He's obviously a winner. This guy's obviously a winner. He's a fan of a winner. He's a winner, baby. That's what it is. Just like the snake. He's a winner.
All right, now breaking down the game a little bit, the New England Patriots were the winner of that game. It didn't look like they were going to be for about 99.8% of that game. And then in the last 10 seconds of the game, Tom Brady does what Tom Brady does, found Kimbrell Tompkins for a touchdown to win the game. Gimp, I know you was going crazy.
Mr. Clutch, man, I was going off. Let me tell you about it. But actually, I would like to continue the trend of me praising the defense. You don't hear that much from New England fans. You know, it's all Brady, it's all Belichick. But I would like to say defense is stepping it up once again. Keeps the lead by me. I know he went out, late in that last drive, but I mean, shutting down Jimmy Graham, no catches. I know you have him on your fantasy team. I know that had to hurt you a little bit, but I mean, come on.
They said Gronk played Jimmy Graham in practice all week. He must have did a hell of a job because they shut Jimmy Graham out. They knew everything Jimmy Graham was going to do.
Let me tell you about the game plan, baby. The game plan deserves some credit. You put Aqib Talib, one of the best corners in the game,
on a tight end.
On a tight end. Bravo, Mr. Bill Belichick. That's unbelievable. That's great coaching right there. That's what a great coach does. We talked about Leslie Frazier having his players out of position and guys couldn't guard this guy or that guy. You got Aqib Talib guarding Jimmy Graham, the best tight end in the game. Bravo, Belichick. That was fantastic. I was blown away by that.
That's what the Emperor does. He takes your best weapon and he takes him away from you. And like Gimp was saying, the defense stepped up big. And I think the play, even though the touchdown pass from Brady to Tompkins was obviously the play that won the game, I think the play that won the game for the Patriots was whenever on third down, Drew Brees was going for a naked bootleg to try to get fourth down to wrap up the game. And Chandler Jones read it like a book and came out and made that tackle and kept New England in that game.
I was actually going to talk about our defensive ends, Rob Ninkovich on one side and Chandler Jones on the other side. Those guys don't put up stats like you see on SportsCenter and whatnot, but they are influences in the game, and those guys are forcing pressure. They're making players make quick decisions. And when's the last time you saw Drew Brees on a naked bootleg? We took them out of their game plan. They were running the ball a little bit, and
you could see Brees was rattled because he's used to looking at Jimmy Graham and having Jimmy Graham as an option, and they didn't have that option. They had Jimmy Graham locked down, and it took Drew Brees out of his game. He was holding the ball longer than he normally does. And, Snake, whenever you can get the quarterback holding the ball too long, that's when your defense has chances to make some plays.
That's right, baby. Anytime you take away a comfort zone of a quarterback, you're going to put him in a bad spot. And Bill Belichick did a great job in this game. You commented on how the guys don't necessarily put up the big stats. But, when you got a scheme and you got guys that fit your scheme like Bill Belichick does, baby, sky's the limit. And that's what he does all the time. Now, the defense isn't great every year, but their championship, they can win championships with that defense. And a lot of credit goes to Bill Belichick.
We're missing Will Fork in the middle, and obviously I said last week, and I'm going to continue saying it. It's going to hurt us. It's gonna come back.
What about Gerard Mayo, baby? The Snake just read on his Twitter account that Gerard Mayo may be out for the year too.
Snake breaking news
here.
That's
breaking news right there. That's what the Snake does, baby. On the field, off the field,
that big money
whatever
contract.
Field I'm on, baby. I'm the star of the show. That's what it boils down to.
Well, once again, like I started off with, the defense is they're making plays. They're gonna come on. Alfonso Dennard, he had a huge interception in the game, and that definitely helped. But I don't want to take too much away from the offense. They weren't clicking. They're not clicking. Felt Brady was still forcing it to Amendola. And that's just not going to work. You got to find the open receivers. You got to find Edelman, and then obviously Kimbrel Thompkins. He's making plays.
Well, they got a lot of young wide receivers, baby. You got to give them time. Tom Brady's doing the best he can with what he's got. You take away a guy like Wes Welker, and you can't expect the offense to just thrive on the outside. Amendola gets a hangnail, baby, and he's out 7 weeks. We can't have that. Kimbrel Thompkins is coming along just fine. Dobson's is pretty much garbage at this point. But realistically, Tom Brady's doing the best he can. You got a garbage set of group of wide receivers, and look at the record, baby. They're still one of the best teams in all of football. That's what Tom Brady does. He wins games.
You talk about doing what you have. Austin Collie had a huge, 4th and 10, 4th and 7 reception that kept the chains moving. Austin Collie, when was the last time you heard his name? When he was like Mr. Concussion?
Austin Collie don't even know his own name at this point. The guy's had like 13 concussions, baby.
He is one concussion away from probably not remembering his name ever again.
He probably don't even remember catching that first down ball.
Speaking of that, the much maligned Danny Amendola got knocked the F out once again. You got to be worried about Danny Amendola.
Definitely.
He's on the field every three plays. He's on the field.
Danny Amendola gets off his couch to walk to his refrigerator to get him a Coke out of the refrigerator, and he turns his damn ankle. The guy's brittle. He needs to start taking some vitamins or something. The guy's on the injured reserve.
Drink some milk.
More than anybody I've ever seen in my life.
Take some vitamins. Drink some milk.
That's right. Say your prayers too.
The Snake's 3 commandments.
That's right.
We got the Snake's 3 commandments, and we're going to go to Bill Belichick's 3 commandments, which is don't turn the ball over, don't talk to the media, and Bill we trust, because that's what it all boils down to. Oh, wait, sorry, there's a 4th commandment, and the Jets suck. Oh. And we'll see you guys next week, and that's all it comes down to.
Speaking of the Jets,
your face, Rex Ryan.
You got that big rivalry matchup with the Jets. The Jets, going into the year, you had to look at this game and think it was an automatic win for the Patriots, but the Jets came out and played a lot better than what all of us thought, especially our esteemed co-host Stephen A. Turner thought, as he predicted they was going to win 2 games all year, and they've already got more than that. Do you fearing the Jets yet, or you think they've just not played good competitions thus far?
It might be because of who they are, but I'm really not, because we play them so close and they play us so close. So I definitely expect it to be a game. I mean, Geno Smith is actually on the uprise of his roller coaster season, so I expect him to complete some passes, to make some plays against our secondary, especially with Talib out. We're missing Mayo, we're missing Wilfork, so we're going to have to put the rookie Jamie Collins in to play alongside Spikes, which can only play every other play. So I do expect it to be a game. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say in front of you guys. I expect it to be a game. But in the ultimate, Mr. Clutch, Mr. Tom Terrific, I expect him to come out, obviously.
You always got to go with the quarterback. But Geno Smith is in every other game quarterback, and this is that other game. He's been playing every other game great. So keep your eye on him. He played you real good. Well, he didn't play you good, but the Jets played you pretty good the first time around.
I actually expect if Nikovic has a good game coming off the edge there, I think he could seal that run game up of Geno. I think he can stop him. I have a lot of faith in that guy. You don't hear anything about this guy.
I know you don't get much on the injury front from Belichick. He just either puts everybody questionable or just makes it very nonchalant and nondescriptive whenever he makes the injuries. But have you heard anything about Gronk as the Gronk turns continues to happen every week? What's the latest on him?
All I've heard is the divide in the locker room, and then the stuff with his family. Everybody's pushing for him to play, and he's wanting to. The team is pressing for him to play, but he's kind of seems apprehensive about it, and I don't know if it's mental or physical. He's been cleared physically to play, but I just don't know if he's in it. I don't know if he's scared. If it's the
guy's had 37 surgeries on his arm.
47.
I mean, it's like at this point, I would be a little scared too.
He's trying to get his money, Snake.
That's right.
You know how that is.
That's right. You don't want to go out there and not be able to hold your kids for the rest of your life because the New England Patriots might think they want to play you in a game. They already rushed you back from injury at least 4 or 5 times. They're the reason why you had the 17 surgeries on the damn thing to begin with. So you can't blame it on the Gronk, baby. You gotta back the Gronk's play. If Dr. James Andrews, the astounded Dr. James Andrews, doesn't clear you to play, baby, you ain't gonna play. That's just the bull. That's the end of the story right there.
Well, he's been medically cleared to play.
Dr. James Andrews clear it?
Dr. James Andrews.
Well, he needs to get his ass on the field. The Snake's changing directions. You see what I did right there? I changed directions. Get your ass on the field, Gronkowski.
I mean, I really think we do need him. I mean, there's no doubt about it. An athlete of that caliber would definitely benefit everything. I mean, as far as we had, Stephen really came back, and he made a definite impact in this game. And 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he was back to the Ridley's believe it or not. I mean, you don't want to believe it, but he's back. And Brady had more rushing yards than LeGarrette Blount. So
they needed somebody to come in and stabilize that offense a little bit, take some of the pressure off those young wide receivers. Whenever you got no run game to worry about, I mean, they're just going to jam them at the line and frustrate Brady all day. You get Brady out of his game, get Brady talking shit to his wide receivers. Then you get the New Englanders you don't see very, very often. Like you said, with dissension in the locker room, that's the thing you don't see with the Emperor ran teams. He usually keeps a very tight knit on his ship there. I don't know. I
can't see there being a whole lot of dissension though when you only lost 1 ball game.
Oh, does the Snake not believe Ed Warder reports?
No, Ed Warder's full of shit. That's what Ed Warder is. I tell you that. You can go on record right now, and you can look me up online. I'll tell you right now. The Snake says Ed Warder's full of shit. Is what it boils down to. He don't know what he's talking about. He's just trying to create dissension. You can't create dissension on a team in first place, Ed. Start talking about somebody else. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, go down there and figure out why everybody's got staph infection or something. Do something more with your time, Ed.
He doesn't have Brett Favre to talk about anymore,
That's
so he's got to make up stuff about
Try
random
to get him
teams.
out of retirement. Go talk to Bus Cook or something. I ain't got time to listen to it.
There's somebody I'd like to hear him talk about is Drunk Bernie. Going to move it on now to Drunk Bernie's Cleveland Browns.
Drunk Bernie.
Your buddy, Drunk Bernie from the Drunk Tank, as Detroit Lions took on the Cleveland Browns 31-17. Detroit came out on top there. I mean, it was a tight game in the fourth quarter. It was a 7-point ball game, and then Brendan Whedon proceeded to make one of the worst interceptions on a shovel pass that you'll ever see. I mean, it was like he punted the ball to somebody.
The poor Browns, man. The poor Browns fans. I'm telling you. They finally found a quarterback off the scrap heap in Brian Hoyer that looked like he could play some ball. Looked like he might be on the Snakes level. and then he breaks his leg or tears an anterior cruciate ligament or something.
Couldn't
whatever
slide,
it is.
Snake. He couldn't slide.
He couldn't slide. He should have learned it from Brandon Wheaton, who played in Major League Baseball. He should have taught him how to slide.
Back when he was 37.
I think Brandon Wheaton might have set him up. That's what he did. He taught him how to slide the wrong way, and he blew his knee out so the 79-year-old quarterback could get his ass back in the game.
Brandon Wheaton learned how to slide from Willie Mays, so you know he knows how to slide.
That's right. He played back whenever Lou Gehrig was playing ball. That's how old he is.
Detroit, they looked totally out of sync whenever Calvin Johnson had to miss the game last week. Calvin returned. He wasn't himself this week, but you've seen the defense that he draws, the attention he takes. Reggie Bush looked like a totally different player with Calvin out of the lineup. Now that Calvin was back in the lineup this game, Reggie Bush was back to doing the running and receiving out of the backfield, making Detroit go like he has been in the games that they've been successful in. I think that's the bread and butter. And Stephen A. Turner's been saying all year they think the Packers that might fall off this year. This might be the year that the Packers fall. And with all the injuries they're having right now, it might be. And it looks like Detroit might be the front runner in that division to take over for the Packers.
Detroit could be the team if they could run a more disciplined ship. And it shows here lately, it's coming through. Namda Kong Su or whatever the hell his name is, he'd be hitting quarterbacks in the head left and right, taking out linemen's knees and everything. I see they're trying to find him again for a hit. He hit the guy in the chest. Let's lay off of Namda Kong a little bit here and give him a little bit of a break, and let's see what happens. Jim Schwartz needs to get a hold of his team, and they got the talent that can go to the top, baby. They can win this division. It's right there for the taking.
That division's hard to predict. As we said, even going into the season, we said it was going to be a tight division all the way through. We didn't necessarily maybe think that the teams are going to be all on the downside as we thought they are. We thought maybe they were going to be playing up a little more like they were last year, and Cleveland was going to join them. But it seems like everybody else has regressed and caught back down to Cleveland. It's hard to predict that division. But speaking of predictions, we're going to go ahead and move it on to our Week 7 predictions. And to do that, Kenny the Snake Stabler is going to be here, and then we're going to bring in a special guest from Connecticut Correctionals. We're going to have Aaron Hernandez in next segment to give his predictions on Week 7. The AFC North is definitely one of the most difficult divisions in football to predict. We're going to go ahead and get an expertise opinion in there on Cleveland. Drunk Bernie's going to give us his thoughts.
Expert? Are you kidding me? Bernie, you owe me money, baby. I'm going to find you.
You heard him. Bernie.
Thank you, buddy and fella. This is Bernie Kosar for the DisPlaced DieHards NFL podcast. I heard after I interviewed Kenny the Snake last time, he rode into space on a rainbow hammer to drink like a whore with a long-haired sissy man. Don't think I didn't hear you last week bitching about me yakking in your 12-year-old Lexus, you Kenny Rogers-looking motherfucker. My Brownies put the whoop on those Vikings to kick off my 3-week celebratory drinking binge. Oh, but the prodigal son, Brandon Whedon, had to throw an interception on a checkdown pass to drive a stake through the heart of America and our comeback drive, ending our franchise record win streak. Thanks, Whedon, you bum. I'm officially off the Whedon. I went through court-ordered rehab, and I'm sticking strictly to the cocktails from now on out. After winning 3 in a row, I thought God was smiling on us, and possibly Tebow was incoming. But it seems I'm not that lucky and get to watch the oldest quarterback ever throw the worst picks ever while we lose to a bunch of losers from Detroit. Now we face off against the Packers after they squeaked out a win over the Ravens, who f***ing suck. It's a Lambeau, but it ain't cold, and I got intel on where old Whedon is going to be, so Bernie can have a little chat with him. And I'm taking the Brownies 20-13. Believe it. Now I'm going to throw it back to you guys in the studio, and this is Bernie Kosar, and I've been drinking.
We back, baby. We back. Drunk Bernie, don't ever talk trash to me. I'll find you. You owe me money. You're going to get my Lexus cleaned. It is not a 1994 or whatever you said it was. It's a 2006 special edition Lexus, and that's all there is to it. But right now, I got a special guest. I done booted Brandon Ward out of the studio, And I brought in a guy that I met when I did a little bit of time, little time up in Connecticut. I brought in Mr. Aaron Hernandez right over here.
Hey, yo, what's cracking, Kenny?
Hey, I had a killer on my left, and now I got a killer on my right, baby. That's the kind of show we're running right here at the DisPlaced
That is
DieHards.
purely speculation, Kenny. Purely speculation.
That's true. I apologize.
Do not speculate on my behalf, Kenny.
I apologize. I apologize.
I got cases right now.
Hey, but let's get on to the picks, all right? We got some picks to do. I think we're gonna try to do some NFL picks.
Pick these locks for me, Kenny. Come on.
Oh,
hook a brother up, Kenny. Come on.
He's in chains. A man in chains. We got the fuzz in here with us. This is uncomfortable. This whole damn thing's been uncomfortable since the get-go.
I'd like to thank the DisPlaced DieHard podcast for getting me on work release, getting me out of the cell and into the 2420 studio. Aye.
Wow. This is great, man. This is unbelievable. This is the best tight end I've ever had, even when I played back in Oakland.
Tight end that might make your life in, son.
That's right. Let's go ahead and get started. Have you been watching football? You have TV access up there in the correctionals?
Come on now, Kenny. I'm fat paid from the Patriots. You know I got my commissary on lock. I got that little TV and direct TV. I got game ticket and red zone, son. What?
That makes sense. That's about, you probably have more than most people. Let me tell you right now. Let's go down to Arizona, home of Carson Palmer, half-ass quarterback if you ask me. He's playing host to Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm taking the Seahawks all the way, baby.
Yo, Kenny, give me the Arizona Cardinals because they sport red. Blood life, son.
Wow, Arizona, what a pick right there. That's an upset special, if you ask me. Let's go down to the coffin as the Count Von Count. We may never hear from the Count again. I think he's out walking in the sun as we speak. Matty Ryan, I'm not calling him Matty Ice no more because the ice done melted. Matty Ice is over at this point. They're hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they ain't got to win. Greg Schiano is going to be heading back to the NCAA pretty soon if you ask the Snake. But I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons to send Greg Schiano right back to Rutgers where it came from.
Come on, Kenny. You ever seen that gat they got on that boat out there in Tampa Bay, son?
It's pretty intimidating.
Could you imagine how many people I could kill with one shot from that? Give me the Bucks all day.
Wow.
And give me that gun.
Upset special number 2 from Aaron Hernandez. Look at him. He's all right, let's move on. Hell, let's move on to Carolina. Cam Newton looked like Joe Montana last week. Well, I got news for you. The St. Louis defense is not the Minnesota Vikings defense. St. Louis defense put up 28 points alone by themselves last week against the lethal combination of T.J. Yates and Matt Schaub. But I'm still going to roll with the Carolina Panthers because of the home field advantage. I love Luke Kuechly. He's a hell of a player. That's one thing me and Stephen A. can agree on.
Yo, Carolina be wearing them blue colors, son. And Tampa Bay, they be wearing a little bit of blue, too, but they kind of outline it on gold, and that's the Latin Nice color, so I'm going to rep in. I'm going to go with the St. Louis Rams.
Oh, man. We're just opposite end of the spectrum, Aaron. We're not on the same page, baby. We got to get tight end and quarterbacks got to be on the same page. So let's go up to 4 feet.
Yo, if you want to get on my same page, you ain't did some PCP, son. That's all there is to it.
Hey, we'll talk about that after the show. You already know I got a chocolate
Angel
bar.
dust. What?
I got a Hershey's bar in my pocket. I could trade, or something. We can make a deal. I think that's how it works up there in Connecticut Correctionals, if I'm not mistaken. But let's head up. Let's head up to Ford Field, baby. Home of the Detroit Lions. They're gonna be playing host to the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. I got to go with the Detroit Lions the way Reggie Bush has been playing. I can't go against the Lions. I'm taking Detroit this week.
Come on, son. The Red Rocket? Is there any doubt? Blood life. Red Rocket. Bengals win.
Hey,
what?
Hey, there we go again. Flip-flopping back and forth. How about your Jacksonville Jaguars, huh? Chad Henne. Oh, what's going on over here?
They won't let me have no pin in this motherfucker.
I've already been attacked.
Come on, Kenny. Ain't you got more pull around this place?
You trying to stab Kenny in the neck with a pin?
I ain't going to shank nobody, Kenny. Come on.
Come on. Get him away from me. Keep him back. You do your job or I'll sue your ass. You understand me? Kenny the Snake has the best lawyers in the land, and I'm about to sue everybody around here. That's how it's about to go down. But anyway, in the meantime, Chad Henne. He's a quarterback of the future for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cecil Shorts may be on the bench, but Justin Blackmon's out there catching 15, 16 balls a game. They're playing host to the San Diego Superchargers and Phillip Rivers. I'm going to roll with Phillip Rivers. I love that man. I love him. Phillip Rivers is going to get the win in Jacksonville.
Well, Kenny, I'm going to have to go with the San Diego Chargers as well. They on that electricity tip, and I might end up in electric seat. I'm going to try to stay on the good side there. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
San Diego.
It makes sense. Good pick. I agree with you 100%. Now let's go down to South Beach, place you probably visited a few times with your gangster thug past that you got.
Great Angel Dust.
That's right. I heard that.
They got the hookup in Miami, son.
I'll have to check that out. But right now, we'll talk about Ryan Tannehill.
They got bath salts, too.
Oh, man. You're getting crazy on me here. Keep it real now. Miami is going to be hosting Buffalo, and I'm going to roll with the Miami Dolphins. How about that? To get back on track. They need it.
I'm rolling with the Buffalo Bills, son. That's right up in the neighborhood area. I watched them a lot. As a Patriot, I think it's time for them to step up, and they wear red. Blood life, son.
Wow, Buffalo, we are not on the same page at all. But how about your boy Rex Ryan, huh? Your boy Rex Ryan hosting your other boy.
My boy.
That can't be your boy.
Yo, if I get out of this case, I might catch another one, get rid of that fat son of a bitch.
Yeah, but what about Bill Belichick cutting your ass? He doesn't not backing you up. He obviously thinks you're guilty.
He's next on the list as well. Where was he at whenever I had a surveillance issue? My surveillance tapes were not taken care of like it was on Spygate, son. If Belichick wanted his all-pro tight end, he would have went Spygate and hit that damn surveillance camera. Where you at, Bill?
I can't imagine
Where you at?
I can't imagine.
Can't even have a pen.
I can't imagine. This is getting out of hand in here a little bit.
Bill.
I'm getting a little bit upset.
Treat me like Wes Welker, son. Come on.
You got to. Hey, get control of your boy over here. Hey, right now, I can't imagine Aaron Hernandez making a pick on this game. And two teams that he has to despise. But I'm going to roll with the better team of the two. Even though Geno Smith is an every other game quarterback, I got to roll with Tom Brady in this situation. I'm taking the Patriots.
I'm going with the Jets because I like Kermit the motherfucking Frog.
Wow, that's a good pick. Yeah, I like that. Kermit the Frog, he goes a long way, man. Let's talk about Brandon Ward's team, the Philadelphia Eagles. They playing host to the Dallas Cowboys in a game that I'm sure he wishes he was here to talk about. So, in that sense, since he's not here, I'm going to take my boy Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys. How about that? How about that, Brandon? Where you at?
Before I got locked up, Kenny, Brandon Ward actually hit me up on the low and was trying to get a hit put out on Tony Romo and Jerry Jones, but I got caught up before I could get that accomplished. But the Dallas Cowboys wear them stars on their hat like they want to be a sheriff like this want to be right here. I ain't talking to you, son. They want to be sheriffs, so I ain't going with nothing like that. Give me the Eagles.
Wow. All right. Let's go on. Let's move down to Washington. They're trying to take the names. What they're trying to do, they call them the Redskins. They may not be called the Redskins for very much longer. They may be called the Washington government shutdowns or something. But let's go ahead and talk about the other team and Jaded Jay Cutler. He's moving into town, and I'm taking the Chicago Bears to roll over the Washington Redskins.
You know what, Kenny? I'd rather slice Jay Cutler's throat and take his hot reality star wife than to pick the Bears. I'm picking the Redskins. Redskins, blood life. What, son?
She is pretty hot, that reality star wife. We got to work on getting her on the podcast.
Ain't nothing like that around the correctional facilities there, Kenny.
I believe it. You probably hung up a little bit, ain't you? I tell you right now.
We ain't a breezy like that around these.
Hey, let's go down to Tennessee, home of the Tennessee Titans. And Jake Locker is not walking through that door. It's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick hosting the 49ers and Colin Kaepernick. And Kaepernick seems to be getting his game back around him a little bit. What are you doing?
Y'all both sweating me. Come on now.
I'm telling you,
y'all like I killed somebody.
Every time you make a fast movement, I get a little nervous. But anyway, how about the tight end Vernon Davis? I'm taking the Jesus Christ. This is unbelievable. I'm taking the 49ers. Aaron Hernandez is out of control.
I don't even care. I'm taking the 49ers. Hey.
All right.
Give me my machete.
What about Green Bay?
Breaking out.
Green Bay Packers playing host.
Free Hernandez.
To the Cleveland Browns.
Are you?
Are you even concentrating on what I'm saying right now?
I'm trying to break out, Kenny. I'm trying to get free.
Get out of here.
I'm trying to get free, Kenny. Come on. Help me, Kenny.
Green Bay Packers hosting the Cleveland Browns? Who do you got? I'll take a Green Bay. I've got nothing else to add. Brandon Whedon's a quarterback. I definitely ain't picking him.
I'm going with Green Bay because they call themselves cheeseheads, and that's also what they refer to angel dust users as, is cheeseheads.
Wow, that's a hell of an analysis.
And
you're not going to get that on ESPN.
And that's my shit.
I can tell you that right now. That's some shit. That's some right-up DisPlaced DieHards exclusive right there. Let's move
exclusive. On.
To Kansas City, home of Andy Reid. That guy's not on any PCP or angel dust. He weighs about 600 pounds.
His son was, though, son. What?
Hey, they're hosting. His son was. That's a hell of a point right there. But I'll tell you right now.
I sold him at 8-ball. What you know about that?
I got nothing. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. I'm going to plead the fifth. How about the Kansas City Chiefs playing host to the Houston Texans? Wow, I'm off my game a little bit. That threw me off. I'm taking the Houston Texans to roll over the Kansas City Chiefs. They're bound to lose one game. I pick against them all the time. I'm taking Houston to win the game.
Man, Kenny, Texas got way too strict of death penalty laws in that motherfucker, so I ain't picking that. I'm going with fat ass and the Kansas City Chiefs. They wear red. What's up with that?
I love your analysis. You almost convinced me to switch my pick to Kansas City, but I'm going to roll with whoever they got playing quarterback this week. It might as well be the Snake, baby, because they don't got nobody that can throw the ball down in Houston. But I'm still going to roll with them in an upset special. How about Ben Roethlisberger, your boy, hosting my other boy, Joe Flacco, Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. I'm taking Baltimore.
Ben Roethlisberger ain't my boy. That motherfucker should be locked up for raping somebody. He obviously snitched if he ain't in prison. So give me the Ravens. I don't go with no snitcher.
Hey, that's a great point. This guy right here.
Stop snitching, son.
This guy right here is dropping hella analysis on you this week. You don't get that every week on DisPlaced DieHards. We busted him right out of correctionals. We brought him down here to do the predictions, and he's just dropping. He's on fire right now is what he is. He's on fire.
Bust me out of these, Kenny. Come on. Bust me out of these, dog. Help me out.
Hey, we're going to have to distract this guy back here, and I got a little bobby pin in my pocket. I might pass it over your way.
Now you talking, Kenny. Yeah. I got a little PCP to hook
you up
with.
We'll get Il Bill Hardesty to run interference here in a minute, and I'll slide it across the desk to you, okay?
What's that over there, yo?
Hey, but let's move on to Indianapolis. Indianapolis is at home, but they're hosting a quarterback that should still be playing in Indianapolis. If it wasn't for Jim Irsay, I done put you on blast once earlier. I'm putting you on blast again. You got rid of Peyton. He's about to throw for 700 yards and 7 touchdowns on you. I'm taking the Denver Broncos, and it ain't going to be pretty. It ain't going to be pretty. Sorry, Andrew Luck, but we're trying to run Trent Richardson.
The only person I despise worse, the Wes Welker, is Peyton Manning. I done battled that dude way too many times on the battlefield to go with him. So give me the Colts.
Wow. Another upset special. You're full of them today. I love it. Let's go ahead and go to Monday Night Football, baby. Monday night, the Minnesota Vikings are rolling into the 0-6 New York Giants. And I'm telling you right now, Slingblade Manning is right in his wheelhouse. This is a game that he needs to get healthy. Go ahead and give me the New York Giants and Slingblade Manning over the Minnesota Vikings, baby, because they're a bunch of bums. You already know how I feel about that.
Yo, you got to tell me why the hell they put the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football against the New York Giants, Kenny. Come on now. I'd rather watch a Domino's game than this game.
What the hell else you going to do in the Connecticut Correctionals? You ain't got much else to do. You might as well tune in.
I'd rather catch a buzz off some coffee and Seroquel and sit there in my cell and just think than watch this pathetic game, Kenny. Come on now.
Who you got?
I got Seroquel. What do you think I got?
Oh, not even. Yeah, that sounds like a winner right there, baby.
Hell, I'll go with Eli. He always beat us in the Super Bowl. He must be able to beat somebody.
That's right. Go with Slingblade Manning, baby. He's going to throw for about 404 touches in this one. And I don't think he might throw a pick in this one. I don't think the Minnesota DBs could catch a cold. But that's going to just about wrap it up for the predictions. It's been a very special edition.
Yo, you said pick, dog. Come on.
Thank you for coming, Aaron.
Dog.
Hey,
come on, dog.
Enjoy your time, baby.
Come on, dog. Pick this.
I'm sorry.
Hey, dog.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what? What life are you
Good evening, my friends. The Casual Fan Reporter checking in on the DisPlaced DieHards podcast, which is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and can also be seen Saturday nights on Time Warner Cable, Channel 72 in Owensboro, Kentucky. But here as of late, if you want to find me, the Casual Fan, all you have to do is find the nearest watering hole housing all the debaucherous drunken souls who have plummeted down to the bottom of a whiskey-stained barrel with nothing better to do than to sit around quenching the torrid excuses of our lives with large amounts of liquor in the hopes of drowning out the pain of our life's failures. Of course, I'm talking about my picks from last week. And if I'm going to bring that up, I might as well toss in all my other failures regarding my quote-unquote insightful breakdowns of tough call matchups. I just don't get it. Panthers are savage beasts, but Viking Warriors are supposed to have the spirit of the gods. Who knew that those spirits were nothing but a bunch of frightened little puppies? Anywho, despite my failures as an NFL analyst and my ex-wife's contention that the spin cycle on our washing machine always gave her more pleasure, I'm still standing tall with pride and assurance that my run of bad luck will soon turn around, like perhaps this week with my tough call matchup between the Green Bay Packers and Cleveland Browns. Again, on paper, this seems like a pretty easy matchup to call. I mean, on one side, you've got a bunch of professional movers who have years of experience packing people's furniture and delicate belongings into boxes and placing them onto big trucks in a neat, orderly fashion to ensure a high quality of delivery to the owner's new location. Then the other side, you got a bunch of middle-aged men who work for UPS and thought it'd be a great idea to get a team together on weekends like it was some damn co-ed softball league, only to go out this weekend and pick a fight with a bunch of hard-working, dedicated pillars of the Green Bay community. I've seen the backs of those UPS trucks, and I gotta say, there's a lot of disarray in that organization, and because of that, I'm taking the Packers to win this street fight. I mean, for God's sake, they can't even stack the boxes properly, and if your ass ain't at home, they'll just leave that package on your doorstep. They don't give a damn if it's raining or snowing or if your neighbor's bloodthirsty German Shepherd who has an unfounded hatred for cardboard is loose on the street. Oh, no. It's all about stop counting, go, 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 and oh, poor me, I couldn't get the day off for my colonoscopy, so my polyps are flaring up. Fact is, if you want quality, you got to stay local, which is why the Browns heading up to Green Bay, Wisconsin is not going to fare well for them. Those bastards wear shorts all the time, and I think that frigid Wisconsin air is going to wreak havoc on their pasty stick legs. Anyway, this is the Casual Fan Reporter saying keep listening, keep watching, and above all else, switch to FedEx. At least their uniforms look better. Later. What can Brown do for you? I'll tell you what you can do. You can put some damn pants on. I want to see your white damn legs and black socks and brown shorts. Ugh.
Brendan Ward back now on the DisPlaced DieHard desk, back with the snake. Kenny Stabler had to let another killer sit beside you there.
I feel a little safer now. We're winding the show down. I sat next to a zombie killer and a damn 4-time murderer at least, maybe more than that. And the snake has avoided death today, so he feels pretty good about himself.
Yeah, sorry to put Hernandez beside you, Kenny. He was out on work release, and this is the only time this month that we could get him on the show, so we had to jump on that opportunity and get his predictions. As you see, he had a limited amount of time as he got lit out of here by correction officers. But that's Aaron Hernandez lives in a fantasy world, but we're going to go ahead and get to our fantasy starts and sits, keep it moving. I'm going to go with my number one start. It's going to be Kimbrel Tompkins of the New England Patriots. I've told you to start him like 3 times, and he's always – every time I tell you to start him, he doesn't do very well, but I'm going to keep having the faith in him. He's like the only guy that Tom Brady has left to throw the ball to.
Yeah, if Geno Smith is an every other week quarterback, Kimbrel Tompkins is an every other week wide receiver, baby, because I got him on my fantasy team, and I start him, and in the weeks I start him, he doesn't do nothing, and I put him on the bench, and he scores 2 touchdowns on the bench. That's just how it rolls with Kimbrel Tompkins, but keep an eye on him because he's bound to break out sooner or later. He is a rookie. My number one start is going to be Eli Slingblade Manning, baby, this week. He's facing a defense that gives up 400 passing yards a game, and I look for him to have a good game at home this week. Hell, the Giants are bound to win a game sooner or later.
Speaking of teams that give up a lot of passing yards, the Eagles play the Cowboys in a showdown for first place in the NFC East. And I'm going to start the much-maligned Zach Ertz. I've talked shit about him all year, but he's getting a lot of playing time, and the Cowboys' defense over the middle sucks. So I'm saying start Zach Ertz if you've got a tight end on bye this week. He's available in almost every league.
I'm going to start the Miami Dolphins defense. If you see him out there on waivers, scoop him up. Because I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Buffalo Bills this week. It's probably going to be Tool time.
Should be you, Kenny.
Hey, I can play quarterback for over half the teams in the league at this point. After I'm going through the games here, I've said it 3 or 4 times. I can play quarterback for them. If it's Tool time, look for the Dolphins to be playing shutdown. They're going to be ball hawking, turnovers left and right. I'm taking the Dolphins D as a start this week.
Speaking of taking, I think this next guy has taken Miles Austin's spot in Dallas for the 3rd consecutive week. I'm telling you to start Terrence Williams in Dallas because, once again, the Eagles' pass defense is a fucking joke.
Yeah, that's a good start right there. Terrence Williams is a hell of a rookie out of Baylor, and I'm telling you right now, he's an impact player for the Dallas Cowboys. But I'll tell you another impact player. He was suspended for 4 games, but now he's back, and he's taking the league by storm, baby. And he's got a quarterback that can get him the ball, and Chad Henne, and I'm taking Justin Blackmon. If you got him, start him. I know everybody's been waiting to see what he's going to do. Well, I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to be a top wide receiver in the league at this point. Justin Blackmon is a must start.
Yeah, if for some reason your league doesn't have – if somebody hasn't picked up Justin Blackmon, he's sitting on the waivers. Pick him up, especially in PPR. That guy's like 20 points guaranteed in PPRs. Moving on to the other side of the ball now, the guys I don't think is going to score a lot of points. Started off with a guy that's lost 95% of his weapons, Matt Ryan, my MVP pick for the season, he has nobody left to throw to. Julio Jones is out for the year. Roddy White hasn't been himself all year. It's down to pretty much Stephen A. Turner's sleeper from like 3 years ago. Harry Douglas might start actually putting up those stats that Stephen A. Turner was predicting.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and set any Rams offensive player versus the Carolina Panthers. There's not a viable start in the running game. I know they've been using Zach Stacy in the running game a little bit. Richardson's garbage. Isaiah Pede's garbage. They don't have any wide receivers. Sam Bradford. I'm telling you right now, this Carolina defense is legit. So any Rams you have on your team, don't start them this week.
Well, our correspondent Gimp was talking about Stephen Ridley coming back and having a big game for the Patriots, but I'm going to say sit him this week because he's playing the New York Jets, and I think they've got a stout run defense. They've shut out a lot of quality running backs, and I think Stephen Ridley will be the next on the list.
New England running backs can't string together consecutive good games to save their life at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and sit the Buffalo Bills wide receivers. If you got Stevie Johnson or you got Robert Woods or any of those kind of guys, I'm going to bench them for the same reason I'm starting Miami's D, baby. I don't know who's starting at quarterback for the Bills. They don't have nobody. They just picked up Flynn. I mean, the team, Flynn may start this week.
They should have picked you up, Kenny.
That's a disgrace.
If they were going to pick up a former Raiders quarterback, it should be the Snake.
The Snake needs a paycheck, baby. That's why I'm here.
Moving on to my third and final now. I've got my boy I've been talking up all year, Colin Kaepernick. He hasn't been a running quarterback, and this week he's got Tennessee's defense he's facing, and I think Tennessee is a stout defense.
They've been impressive, baby. They sure have. And on the other side of the ball, on Tennessee's side of the ball, is my next sit. It's going to be Nate Washington. He was lighting it up with Jake Locker, but now he's got Fitzpatrick in there, and he went out and he scored 0 points this week. So if you got Nate Washington, go ahead and sit him on your bench. It's not worth starting him.
Well, that's going to about do it for the episode number 13 Halloween special of the DisPlaced DieHards. I would like to thank my special guest host, Kenny the Snake.
It's been a blast, baby. It's been a blast.
The best co-host in the business, as
Unbelievable.
well as the best interviewer in the business. I'd like to thank all of our guests that we had in. I'd like to thank the correctional facilities for allowing Aaron Hernandez to check in. And I'm going to remind you, you can download a new episode of the podcast every Friday at DisplacedDieHards.com. You can follow us on Twitter at DieHards Podcast. You can like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/DisplacedDieHards. You can watch segments and complete shows on YouTube, /DisplacedDieHards. You can also listen to the podcast on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. You can also view the show every Saturday at 10 p.m., Channel 72 on Time Warner Cable. Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, baby.
Skeeter Dickin'.
DisPlaced DieHards.
DisPlaced DieHards.
I am a DisPlaced diehard.
I'm a DisPlaced DieHard. We are DisPlaced DieHards.
We got the heat in here with us.
I can't smile either. I gotta be hard ass.
It's going to be hard not to smile because I'm going to make you laugh.
I can't do it.
We got to get something.